summation of x squared. We need to find x squared first. So x squared. So this is 79 times by itself. 79 times 79. So this is the answer for the first day. And copy paste natin hanggang sa baba. Okay. By the way, summation of x to y pala yung kanina, no? Ito, i-copy paste natin dito. Same with summation of x squared. So, ito na po yung summation of x squared. 88,733. So, summation of x, this is actually already computed. Summation of y squared and summation of y. Summation of y, meron na. Summation of y squared, wala pa tayo. So, let's start computing the y squared first. So, this is y multiplied to y again. So, 147 multiplied to 147. Multiplied to itself lang. Then, copy-paste ulit. And get the sum. Since ito yung formula nito is sum na, so, equal natin siya. Copy-paste. Okay, so, madali lang. Ayan na, meron na tayong data ng lahat. We can now actually proceed sa computation. Hello everyone, how are you? So for this video, we will going to have our next topic regarding the PPMC or the Pearson product moment correlation. So basically, this is under the chapter of correlation and regression analysis. But again, for this presentation, we will only focusing more on the PPMC, the Pearson product moment correlation. Okay, so let's start our discussion. Again, this is the chapter 4, correlation and regression analysis. So, before having the calculation itself, it is actually very important that we know first what are the terminologies that we may encounter along the way. No, so first, of course, the correlation. First terminology, we have the correlation. When we say correlation, this is a statistical method used to determine whether a relationship between variables exists. For example, we are trying to know if there's a relationship between the height of the person and the length of the foot. Something like that. Does the height is positively correlated with the length of the foot? Or any other example is kapag ba mainit ngayon, no, and sa specific time within a day, mainit, may chance ba na umulan? Correlated ba 'yon, yung dalawang 'yon? So ano pa? Correlated din ba yung kapag meron akong mga rashes, no? Is it correlated sa aking daily lifestyle? Something like that. As long as it is all the data or the scenario are all can be turned into a quantitative one. So, pwede po natin siyang i-relate as much as possible. No? It's quantitative dapat tayo. And ano pa? Another terminology aside sa correlation, we have the regression analysis. So, dito naman sa regression analysis, this is a statistical method used to describe the nature of the relationship between variables that is either positive or negative, linear or non-linear. So actually, halos magkapatid itong correlation and regression. When we say correlation, meron bang relationship between those variables? Answer is yes or no sa correlation yun. Pagdating sa regression, if the answer is yes, there is a correlation, the regression, sinasagot niya naman, gaano kataas or gaano kababa yung relationship nila. Positive ba yan? Or negative? Perfect positive, perfect negative, something like that. So that is for regression, or it can also be linear or non-linear. So, si regression analysis, it is actually determining if there is rather describing the nature of their relationship. Okay? Next, we have this scatter diagram. Unahin muna natin siya before yung PPMC dahil we will going to need this sa ating mga next topics, PPMC, Spearman, and also sa regression analysis. So, scatter diagram is actually very basic graph ito. This is how it looks like. So here we have this scatter diagram of the United States population ng year 2000s, female and male. So, ayan, population. And this is a scatter diagram. By definition, guys, a scatter diagram is a useful tool for checking the assumptions, take note of the term assumptions, in a regression analysis. It can be viewed during an initial screening run of the analysis or after the analysis. In our case, we will be having our scatter diagram in the beginning, before our analysis on the Pearson product moment correlation for us to be able to have some quick insight on ano yung magiging possible na result ng ating computation. Okay? So, let's start with the PPMC or the Pearson product moment correlation. So, PPMC is actually the most widely used in statistics to measure the degree of the relationship between the linear related variables. So, actually, this is under parametric statistics. And Pearson R correlation would require both variables to be normally distributed. So, if your distribution is discrete, Poisson, or binomial distribution siya, hindi po applicable si PPMC gamitin sa mga ganong uri ng dataset natin. Now, for the correlation, this refers to the departure of two random variables from independence, just like what we have defined earlier. And meron tayong tinatawag na correlation coefficient. Ito naman yung mismong numero na. So this defined as the covariance divided by the standard deviations of the variables, measure of the linear strength of the association of the two variables. So ayan ang sinasabi natin. Ano pa, another example pa pala, no, para madagdagan yung idea ninyo. For example, in this stock market, if you want to measure how two products are related to each other or how the movement or the performance of company A is related to company B, pwede rin po ito gamitin. No, as long as, again, the data is normally distributed. Okay, for the formula for calculating Pearson R correlation, let's have the formula. Let's write it here. So it is denoted by letter R equals, for the numerator, we need to have here the summation of x minus x bar multiplied to y minus y bar for the numerator. For the denominator, we have here the square root of, medyo mahaba siya, habaan natin, ayan. So we have here summation of x minus x bar and squared bracket, another opening bracket, for the summation of y minus y bar squared. Okay, so that is for the Pearson R correlation. And since dyan actually nagsimula ang ating formula, this is actually equivalent if we will going to have our basic derivation. Ito yung katumbas niya magiging summation of x y siya minus summation of x multiplied to summation of y all over n. Then sa denominator natin, we'll be having here square root of course, bracket muna tayo, summation of x squared minus summation of x square sa labas. Magkaiba to, yung nasa loob yung square at saka nasa labas, magkaiba yun pag kinumpute. So, minus n. So, bracket ulit. Then, we have here sa y naman, summation of y square sa loob minus summation of y square over n. And the closing bracket. Okay, and this is equivalent to our final formula, which is, kung isi-simplify pa natin, it will be n. So, focus multiply, no? N. I hope you're, nakukuha ninyo, nakapag-catch up kayo with this one. And summation of x to y minus summation of x multiplied to summation of y all over, we have here the square root pa rin. Let's just simplify the denominator. So, n summation of x square sa loob po yan minus summation of x sa labas ang square, then closing bracket, then opening bracket. We have here n. So, kung titignan nyo, ano lang, nilipat lang. N, then summation of y. This is y. I'll just delete this. Nagbumukha kasi siyang x, no? And this is y. Okay, so, summation of y squared minus summation of y squared pero sa labas. Okay, so don't mind the first two kung naguguluhan po kayo dyan sa derivation ng ating mga formula. Don't mind it. Ang ating gagamitin is itong final. So, ibabox natin. So, this is the formula for the R or the Pearson correlation. Okay, so ayan na lang ang wag niyong kakalimutan. Okay? So, for the correlation coefficient, guys, is actually also known as the Pearson's product moment correlation coefficient or the PPMC coefficient or Pearson's R. Yung iba ganun tawag. Same lang yan. A measure of the linear strength of the association between two variables founded by Carl Pearson. So, the value of the correlation coefficient is actually varies between positive 1 and negative 1. So, meaning, ang gitna nila is 0. So, we can have here negative 89, negative 64, positive 22, positive 88. As long as it is bounded by positive and negative 1, then it can be the value of the correlation coefficient. Now, we have here the set of guidelines for us to know gaano ba kataas yung correlation nila or gaano kababa. No, so when we have a correlation of 1, exact 1, here, we have the perfect positive correlation. This is for 1, perfect positive. When we say perfect positive, kapag rinaf po sila, no, diretso, tuloy-tuloy, walang nakalihis. Kasi nga, exactly. Meaning to say, kapag umaangat yung isang data, no, yung pangalawa, umaangat din. Ayun po siya. No, parang ganito. Ano yung mga perfect positive correlation? One example of the perfect positive correlation is the time and your age. Tama? Di ba? Kada nagkakaroon tayo ng bagong araw, matutulog tayo, paggising natin kinabukasan, tumanda tayo ng isang araw. No? So, meaning to say, kada dumadaan yung oras, tumatanda tayo. Walang bumabata na when it comes to age. Sa physical characteristics, pwede na mangyari ngayon, ipabata ng itsura, no? Pero pagdating sa age, no, directly correlated po siya sa time. Something like that. So, that is perfect positive correlation. So, next, we have here the positive correlation. So, for the positive correlation, ito, positive pa rin, pero hindi niya naabot yung 1, around 0.80, 0.70, 0.60. Later on, I will give you the range on how will you know if this is positive, perfect positive, or no correlation at all. No, so, I will give you. So, that is for the positive correlation. So, positive siya, pero hindi eksaktong 1. Next, we have the perfect negative correlation. So, almost the same with the perfect positive correlation, but this time, inversely proportional siya. Pababa. Pag ganyan itsura ng graph niya, inverse. And the negative correlation, negative siya, pero hindi siya eksakto na 1. So, that's why it is called negative correlation. So, for zero correlation, basically, since it is called zero correlation, so yung computed value ng R natin should be 0. Just like this one. Wala kang pwedeng magawang linya. No, tulad nito, hindi mo pwedeng ipag-connect na yan. Ano itsura na yan, di ba? Hindi siya, walang line. No, zero correlation. Meaning, yung dalawang set of data mo, your x variable and your y variable is not at all correlated with each other. Ano yung mga bagay na walang correlation? Example ng mga bagay na walang correlation. Yung tamis ng timpla mo ng Milo ay hindi correlated sa weather natin ngayon. Di ba? Walang kinalaman. Yung liit ng langgam, walang kinalaman sa pagpasa mo sa statistics or sa pagbagsak mo, either of the two. Na walang kinalaman yun, as in nothing. Tapos kinumpel mo sila, zero ang lalabas na correlation. Okay? So, I hope nakuha ninyo. For the nonlinear correlation, since wala ditong number, no, and these are the correlation na hindi siya pwedeng gawan ng line na straight, kaya nga tinawag na nonlinear. So, as you can see here, may curve tayo. Ayun yung data niya. So, nonlinear correlation. And if this is the case, ibang topic na po siya ng statistics. Okay? So, I hope that is clear with you. Here's now the correlation coefficient and the strength of their relationship. So, if 0, basically that is no correlation or the two variables doesn't have any relationship with each other. For the next one, from positive negative 0.01 going to positive negative 0.2, that is very low correlation. So, almost negligible relationship. Parang wala na, hindi mo na rin, may correlation pero napakababa, di mo naramdam. No, ganyan. Next, 0.21, positive negative 0.21, going to positive negative 0.20, that is a slight correlation. So, definite but small correlation. So, next we have 0.41 to 0.70. This is moderate correlation or substantial relationship as long ito pwede na, no? Substantial na yung relationship na ng dalawa. 0.71 to 0.90. This is high correlation. So, marked relationship. Ito talaga, statistically proven, pwede mo nang masabi na these two variables are statistically proven na meron silang correlation with each other. Something like that. Okay, so for positive negative 0.91 going to positive negative 0.99, very high correlation, very dependable relationship. Meron na talaga to, obvious na. And basically, perfect one is perfect correlation or perfect relationship. Sana all perfect relationship. Anyway, so we also have here the test of significance na tinatawag. When we say test of significance, this is a test of significance for the coefficient of correlation may be used to find out if the computed Pearson's R could have occurred in a population in which the two variables are related or not. So, the test statistic follows the t distribution with n minus 2 degrees of freedom. Bakit n minus 2? Dahil dito, I will just write here that for the degrees of freedom, n minus 2. Bakit minus 2? Dahil we have two populations here na tinatry natin makita if they have the correlation or wala. So, two variables kasi. And the significance is computed using this formula. So, I will write the formula. We have here T. So, R, the value of R, square root of N minus 2 over, we have the square root of 1 minus R squared. For the T, this is the test or the t-test for correlation coefficient. Ayun, nasulat ko na pala sa taas. Inulit ko lang. Correlation coefficient. Okay? Then, the R here is yung na-compute natin na correlation coefficient itself. So, sorry sa sulat, no? Ayan na po yung pinakamaganda. Correlation coefficient. And lastly, we have the N. So, this is the number of the paired samples. Number of paired samples. Okay, just like the previous na mga topics natin. Yun pa rin yung N. No? So, we have here, guys, the assumptions in having the PPMC or the Pearson product moment correlation. So, first assumption is that the subjects are randomly selected. Take note of that, randomly selected. And for the second assumption, both populations are normally distributed. Again nga, sabi ko kanina, this is used for parametric statistics wherein yung data mo is normally distributed. Again, to check if the data is normally distributed, go back to your statistics 1, yung sa skewness, sa kurtosis, sa descriptive statistics natin. So, that's it for the assumptions in PPMC. For the testing the hypothesis of correlation coefficient at 0.05 significance level, we have here the graph. So, basically, ang mangyayari kasi dito guys, sa hypothesis natin, we will be having an equal and not equal sign. Dahil, two-tailed ang mangyayari. Kasi tingnan natin kung, is there a relationship? Diba, ang sagutan lang natin sa in-explain ko kanina, yes or no. So, ano lang yan? Variable equals 0 or specific variable is not equals to 0. And if that is the case, just like what I have told you before on our topic hypothesis testing introduction, kapag ganun, no, it will be two-tailed test. So, meaning to say, we will be having here the positive value of P, no? And this will be the rejection region. So, I will just write it as RR. And next, we have here the negative value of T. Okay, and then our rejection region. Okay, now, for the rejection region, it is just saying, with regards to correlation na topic, na there is correlation. Take note po, there is correlation. Meron silang correlation. Bakit? Kasi nga, ni-reject natin yung null. And again, sabi natin, null is always equal. So, variable, kung ano man yun, equals to 0. Ito yung null natin eh. Ang alternative will look like this. Something like that. Now, x equals 0, meaning, wala tayong correlation. Itong x not equals to 0, so may correlation. If nandito yung ating data computed, nasa rejection region, meaning to say this is rejected and this is correct, yung ating alternative. And ang alternative natin is not equals to 0, meaning 0 pataas or 0 pababa. And kung babalikan natin, 0 pataas and 0 pababa is ito siya, yung mga numero na to. There is a relationship, pwedeng low, pwedeng medium, pwedeng high, pero hindi no. Okay? I hope that is clear with you. Therefore, again, kapag nasa rejection region, there is a correlation. So, dito sa non-rejection region, there is no correlation. Kabaliktad lang naman yan lagi. There is no correlation. Okay? I hope this is clear. Wala pa tayo sa mismong computation. I'm just trying to explain the concepts behind para pag nasa computation na tayo, malinaw sa inyo. So, ayan lang naman. Madali lang naman ito. Anyway, so let's have now our example. For the correlation example, the owner of a chain fruit shake stores would like to study the correlation between atmospheric temperature. Take note po, this will be our first variable. Atmospheric temperature and sales. Ito yung second natin. During the summer season. A random sample of 12 days is selected with the results given as follows. So, here are the days. On the first day, ang temperature is 79. As far as I can remember, this is on degrees Fahrenheit. Kaya medyo lumagpas sa mga alam natin na dapat 38, 39, 40, 41 na temp. So, ayan siya. And the sales is units. Units na nabenta nila ng fruit shake. Na shake. So, sa first day daw, they have 79 degrees Fahrenheit. And nung ayun yung temperature, nakabenta sila ng 147 units of fruit shake. So, same analysis for the second na araw, 76 yung temperature, 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Then, at that day, nakabenta sila ng 143, and so on and so forth, going to 12 na may 82 degrees Fahrenheit, tapos nakabenta sila ng 150. Ang gustong malaman ng owner ng fruit shake na to is that, kung meron bang relationship, yung temperature, yung panahon, yung temperature, sa sales nila, bilang yung product nila is fruit shake. Kasi ang parang hypothesis niya dito, kapag ba mainit, mas mabenta kami. So, something like that. So, ayun. So, alam na natin yung sagot, pwedeng yes, no? Kasi tayo mismo, bibili tayo pag mainit na. Pero ito, we will try to find out statistically. Now, given this raw data natin. I hope you get it. So, plot the data on a scatter diagram. Does it appear there is a relationship between atmospheric temperature and sales? So, try natin to maya-maya. Compute the coefficient of correlation. Ito yung may formula na tayo. And determine at the 0.05 significance level whether the correlation in the population is greater than 0. Ayun lang naman gusto nating malaman kung exact 0 or greater than. No? So, let's start our computation. So, first we need to graph this scatter plot. Guys, we will not be having a manual graph na, no, dahil wala tayo sa senior high or sa junior high. Let's use Excel here para mas magamay ninyo yung paggamit ng mga statistical softwares. So, I will be having my Excel here. So, I have here the plotted na yung mga data natin. Yung pahiga kanina, pinatayo ko lang. Same lang po yan. So, for us to be able to plot and have our scatter plot, just highlight this cell from cell B2 going to cell C13. And insert, click insert. Then, we have here scatter. No? And that's it. Pili na lang kayo dito ng design. Kung anong gusto nyong design, ito piliin natin. Anong ibig pong sabihin? No, we don't have any chart title here. Pwede naman tayong maglagay ng chart title if you want. So, this is for, ano ba to? Temperature versus sales. Okay? So, our X here is the temperature, right? So, let's label this temperature. And for our Y here, this is for what we have here is the sales in units. So let's write here units. Oops. Okay. For the temperature, let's have here in Fahrenheit. Okay. So this is how our data looks like. So, do you think meron bang correlation ang ating temperature and sales? It looks like, yes sir, there is. Pero, hindi pa natin napoprove statistically. No, graph pa lang natin, pero yung correlation-wise, yung number itself, hindi pa natin alam. Ito, actually, parang kamukha siya. Let's go back sa ating PowerPoint presentation. Halos kamukha siya neto, no? Positive correlation. So, around 0.80. So, ito yung kailangan natin makuha ngayon. Yung exactong number na to. Yung 0.80 o baka naman 0.73 siya. Tignan natin how strong the relationship is. Okay? So, nasaan na tayo? So, we have done plotting the scatter plot. Now, we are now going to have our hypothesis. So, just like what I have said before, hypothesis here will be equals or unequal. So, for the null hypothesis, it will be R because ayun yung i-compute po natin equals 0 for the null hypothesis. Meaning, we are just saying here that there is no correlation between the atmospheric temperature and total sales of the fruit shake. No, as in 0, no correlated. Hindi sila magkaugnay. Okay, so for our alternative hypothesis, this is R not equals to 0. Meaning, we are saying here that there is a correlation between the atmospheric temperature and the total sales of the fruit shake. Okay? So, for the level of significance, based on the problem, we must use 0.05 significance level. So, let's write it here, 0.05. Next, for the degrees of freedom, just like what I have said before, it will be n minus 2. And n natin, if you'll check, our n here is 12. Guys, take note ha, ito po yung n, hindi po itong dalawa. Baka kasi gawin nyo, 12, tapos 12, it will be 24. Ang binilang nyo po doon is yung variables. Ang perspective natin sa 12 is paired kasi ito. Yung naka-paired sample ito. Ilang araw natin kinolect yung data? No, a random sample of 12. Take note sa term, a random sample of 12 days. So, meaning to say that will be our n. 12. Okay, so 12 minus 2, this will be 10. Degrees of freedom pa lang yan. And it will be used for the solution natin sa critical value, sa paghahanap natin ng critical value. I hope you still remember how we find critical value. It is just basically the degrees of freedom and the level of significance together with the tailed test. So, since this is equals and unequal, meaning to say this will be a two-tailed test. Okay, bakit po two-tailed? Dahil wala naman siyang direction na binigay, either going to the right or going to the left. Kaya siya hindi one-tailed. Rather, again, two-tailed test po siya. So, two-tailed, 0.05 and 10. Let's go now to our table. So, 0.2-tailed, 0.05, here it is, and 10. Oops, 10. Here, we have 2.228. And again, that is a two-tailed test, meaning to say, positive and negative ang ating magiging symbol. 2.22 critical value. Okay, so I hope that is clear with you. Now, we need to compute now the value of R, or again, that R is Pearson product moment correlation. So, we may use here your calculator. If you don't have your MS Excel, then mag-manual kayo. Pero for this presentation, I will be going to use the MS Excel for easier computation. Okay, so let's go back to my Excel. Ibaba muna natin tong graph, no? Kasi ayan is, tinik lang natin kanina. So, for the first part of our data, ano yung mga kailangan natin kunin dito, by the way? No, balikan natin yung formula pa lang muna. Para malaman natin ano yung mga kailangan natin kunin. So, una, we need to have the formula. Nasaan ang ating formula? Ito. So, summation of x to y. Summation of x, summation of y. Let's get first the summation of x. Where's our x? Ito. Meaning total. Tapos summation of y daw. So, let's have here total. For the summation, basically it is just the sum. Use the formula sum. Then highlight all your data. And enter. So, basically this is the summation of x. Copy-paste na lang natin yung formula for the y. This will be now the summation of y. Let's have the 2 decimal places. Rather, wala na lang. Para ano tayo? Pare-pareho. Okay. So, next. Nagana tayo nito. Summation of x to y. We don't have the summation of x to y. Check natin dito. Let's compute for the summation of x to y. Meaning to say, i-multiply lang daw po natin yung value ng x and the value ng y. So, let's have here the multiplication. Equal sign, 79, then times this cell. And copy-paste, ayan na po lahat ang value ng x to y. Okay? Ano pang need natin? Okay na yung denominator, no? So, we will be also needing the summation of x square. Meaning to say, kailangan natin kuhanin yung value ng x squared muna, then i-add natin silang lahat for the summation. Okay, as you can see now guys, hindi ko siya actually sinasabi sa inyo yung steps. Titingnan lang natin siya based sa formula. Kasi the formula always speak for itself. Sinasabi niya ano yung unang kukuhanin, anong mga variables, anong gagawin sa kanila. No, basta alam niyo yung formula, hindi kayo maliligaw. Kahit hindi nyo alam yung steps. That's why hindi ko binibigay yung steps dito. Nagpo-formula tayo. So again, summation of x squared. We need to find x squared first. So x squared. So this is 79 times by itself. 79 times 79. So this is the answer for the first day. And copy-paste natin hanggang sa baba. Okay. By the way, summation of x to y pala yung kanina, no? Ito, i-copy-paste natin dito. Same with summation of x squared. So, ito na po yung summation of x squared. 88,733. So, summation of x, this is actually already computed. Summation of y squared and summation of y. Summation of y, meron na. Summation of y squared, wala pa tayo. So, let's start computing the y squared first. So, this is y multiplied to y again. So, 147 multiplied to 147. Multiplied to itself lang. Then, copy-paste ulit. And get the sum. Since ito yung formula nito is sum na. So, ipon natin siya. Copy-paste. Okay, so madali lang. Ayan na, meron na tayong data ng lahat. We can now actually proceed sa computation. So, let's have our computation here. So, we need to determine the value of t. Before the value of t, ano muna tayo? Let's have first the value of r. So write natin dito yung ating mga nakuha. We have summation of x, summation of y, summation of x squared, para magamit natin sa formula. Summation of y squared. So, mali ako. Burahin natin ito. It should be y squared. I hope guys you have your calculator, your laptop, and your pen and paper with me while watching this presentation para nakukuha ninyo, nakakasabay, no? Yung summation of x and y, kailangan din yun. So, ayan. For the formula, we have the formula n, ulitin ko lang yung formula, no, i-write ko lang, summation of x and y minus summation of x multiplied to summation of y over the square root of n multiplied to summation of x squared minus summation of x tapos squared pero nasa labas, then bracket closing and opening, then n multiplied to summation of y squared minus summation of y squared. Okay, so ayan ang ating formula. Let's go back to Excel para makita ninyo yung mga values. Summation of x muna. So we have 1,029. Summation of x, 1,029. Summation of y, we have 2,115. 2,115. Summation of x squared. Where's x squared? This. 88,733. So, 88,733. Summation of y squared, we have 380, 887, 380,887. For the summation of x and y, we have 183,222. 1,222. Okay? So, let's substitute all our given. For the n, our n here is 12, no? So, substitute natin. We have here n, 12. Summation of x and y, 183,222. 83,222. Minus summation of x natin, 1,029. Multiplied to summation of y, which is 2,115. Okay, that's it for our numerator. For the denominator, we have here n. Square root muna pala. We have here n. Rather, hindi na siya isusulat. Lagyan natin 12 na. Okay. So, black. Okay. So, 12 multiplied to summation of x squared. Ano po yun? Ito. 88,733. 88,733 minus summation of x, which is 1,029. Tapos naka-square sa labas. Closing bracket, opening bracket ulit. Then 12 for the value of n. Then summation of y squared. Ano po yun? Ito. 380,887. So, 380,887. Then, we have minus summation of y, tapos squared sa labas. That is 2,115. Okay, then square sa labas. Okay, then closing bracket. Nakalimutan ko pa dito. Okay. Now we have here, medyo madugo, no? Just directly input this on your calculator and you will find the answer. Okay, so in my case, I have the application here, calculator application. So let's try. So, fraction muna. And then, copy natin, no? We have 12 multiplied to 183, 222. We have 12, 183. Okay. Then, minus 1,029. Minus 1,029 multiplied to 2,115. 2,115. Sa baba, we have here the square root. So, square root of 12 multiplied to 88,733 before 12. Kapag sa calculator, guys, you need to have first the parentheses. Yung bracket and braces and parentheses, that is all the parentheses pagdating sa calculator. So, 12 tayo multiplied to 88,733. So, opening ulit. 88,733. Okay, then next we have minus 1,029 squared sa labas. Minus 1,029 then squared sa labas. Okay, after nyan, next natin is closing parenthesis para makakulob mo sila. Nakita nyo, no? May sagot na agad pero hindi pa tayo tapos. Pag nilagyan natin siya ng sign, mawala yan. Okay, diba? Kasi nabitin siya. Ito kasi na-close na natin eh. We have the closing parenthesis, meaning we can now actually solve the formula, yung mga given mo input. Pero since nilagay tayo ng mathematical operator, so hindi pa siya, magko-compute pa siya. Hihintay pa siya ng bagong data na input natin, which is yung second part ng ating denominator, which is 12. So let's write here, open parenthesis ulit, 12. Then open parenthesis for the 380,887. 380,887. Closing parenthesis minus this 2,115, then squared sa labas. So, 2,115, then squared sa labas. Then, para ma-close, since we have here open, closed, may open tayo dito, wala tayong close doon sa dulo. So, we need to have here close parenthesis. And as you can see, nag 0 point something siya. Ano ang mali kong input? Kapag ganyan guys, check nyo ang inyong input. Baka meron tayong maling input. So, i-itan ko siya. Okay. So, 12, 88, 733 minus 1029 squared. Multiplied ulit. Ayun. So, ang ating error, take note guys na kasi medyo ang calculator. Ang ating error is, etong dalawang ito, tsaka ito, they should be multiplied. Ito yung niya. Multiplied dapat. Pero ang ginawa natin, naglagay ako ng minus sign. So, this is wrong. Delete natin ito para mag-multiply sila. Okay. So, meaning to say, di ba, we have here open and close, open and close, open, tapos close. Ito naman sa kabila, open and close, open and close, open, tapos close. Nasakop na yung mas malaki. So, meaning to say, kinoconsider siya ng calculator na ito yung unang part, tapos ito yung second part sa denominator. Minultiply sila. That's why, we have here now our answer, 0.9270572553, or simply, we can write this as 0.93 na value ng R natin. So, our R here is 0.93. Okay? So, ayan na. 0.93. Saan siya pumasok? As you can see, balikan natin yung ating mga range. 0.93. Dito siya pumasok, oh. So, very high correlation or very dependable relationship. Meaning to say, our sales is directly proportional. Somehow, no, high correlated siya sa ating temperature. Ayun po yung ibig niyang sabihin. Pero di pa tayo tapos, no? Let's continue our solution. We should now determine the value of T. Dahil meron tayo kaninang di ba? Critical value of T. Ngayon naman, compute natin yung value of T. Just like what I have given you before, the formula for T is T equals the value of R na na-compute po natin, square root of N minus 2, all over the square root of R, 1 rather, minus R squared. So, direct na natin ito. Again, for the R na na-compute natin, 0.93. So, 0.93 square root of our N is 12. So, 12 minus 2 over square root of 1 minus 0.93. 0.93 then square. Okay? So, let's solve this sa ating calculator. Delete ko muna silang lahat. Clear. Okay. So, fraction. We have 0.93 multiplied to the square root of 10. Diretso ko na, no? Dahil 12 minus 2 is 10. So, for the denominator, we have here square root of 1 minus 0.93 then squared siya. Okay. So, ayan, 8.00 or eksaktong 8 na lang ang ilagay natin. So, for the value of T, that is 8. Okay. This is the T computed. Now, kung babalikan ninyo, yung ating T critical is 2.228. This is at alpha level 0.05. Meaning to say, our decision rule now will be, let's have our graph here. For example, ito ang ating positive 2.228. This is the negative 2.228. And of course, the rejection region. Huwag kakalimutan, laging merong rejection region. Kung titingnan ninyo, 0. Tingnan ninyo, we have 8 as T computed. So, malamang dito yan. And nasa rejection region siya. Therefore, our decision should be to reject our null hypothesis. No, reject ang HO. Since we reject our HO, mali ka. Mali yan. Ito tama yung alternative. Meaning to say, yung R natin is not equals to 0. Kasi nga, ang na-compute natin is 0.93. Meaning, wala siyang correlation. No, rather, may correlation siya, hindi siya no correlation. And yung correlation niya is 0.93. Nakita nga natin, di ba? Very high correlation siya. So, that is the decision. Kumbaga, kinonfirm natin siya using the T value. The T computed. Now, since ayun na yung sagot, conclusion natin for formal conclusion, since the null hypothesis has been rejected, we can conclude that there is evidence that shows significant association between the atmospheric temperature and the total sales of fruit shake. So, yes, statistically proven na may kinalaman po yung temperature sa sales. Mas umiinit ang temperature, mas maganda ang nagiging sales. Mas tumataas ang sales nila ng fruit shake. So, I hope that is clear with you. And that is the end of our presentation regarding the PPMC, Pearson Product Moment Correlation. Again, this is for parametric statistics, and we are assuming that the distribution is normally distributed siya, yung curve niya. Okay, so our next topic here will be all about the Spearman rank correlation. Anyway, I hope you learned something from this presentation. I'm looking forward for the mastery of this subject. See you again on our next discussion. Keep safe always, and bye-bye.